Right now we're going to be giving you guys a quick explanation on how to install the rear brake line. We have a banjo fitting on one end, a banjo fitting on the other end. The kit includes, just like on the front, 2 bolts and 6 washers. Again, remember, you're only going to use 4 of the washers. The other 2 are extra in case you need them. Rear brake lines in general are short little lines. Again, they have a stiffener section, which is the part that it's hard plastic and it protects the bike, the brake line, from any rocks or anything like that. These are short little lines. There are some tricks to the rear brake line, though. Rear brake lines, when they reach the front area towards your peg at the master cylinder area, they have a big loop that you must follow when you install the new brake lines. Robert will be doing the install, and he'll be telling us all about it.
First off, you want to remove the master cylinder cap so we could drain all the brake fluid out of the system. Here we're going to be using a shop vac. Okay, to remove the rear brake line off this bike, you're going to have to remove the master cylinder due to the mounting point of the master cylinder. Do take note the routing of the rear master cylinder and the caliper with the brake line, just in case something's not right with the Galfer brake lines. All of the Galfer brake lines are pre-orientated to accommodate the master cylinder and the caliper. The rear caliper was already pre-installed. The fitting, we have a banjo fitting, washer, fitting, and then washer. And then you torque it down to 12 to 14 foot-pounds. Now I want to show you guys the loop that we're keeping from the OEM design. We use a 40-degree at the master cylinder to keep the brake line away from the shock. So we got a bolt, washer, fitting, washer, master cylinder. So your brake line should look like this to keep the brake line away from the actual spring.
We're going to start bleeding the rear brake line now. Rear brake line bleeding process, it's very, very simple because the brake line itself is so short. Once you've made sure that the line is traveling on the right areas, that it's not hitting the rear spring, you're going to start by filling the brake fluid reservoir, master cylinder reservoir. Once it's full, it's pretty simple. We're going to start pressing on the brake lever. Brake fluid reservoir, it's going to be full. We're going to be pressing on the brake lever, and we're going to hold on down on the brake lever and open up the caliper bleeder nipple. Brake lever, it's going to come all the way down, and then we're going to close the caliper bleeder nipple and then release the lever. It's very important that we follow this sequence. Pump, hold, it comes all the way down as you open the caliper bleeder. Again, we're going to pump. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Open up the master cylinder, the caliper bleeder nipple, and close it. Pump again, and so forth. Now we're basically building pressure. We're passing all that brake fluid from here to here. We always suggest that you put some kind of weight on the brake foot itself. Leave it there for a little while so that you know for sure that there are no leaks anywhere. So in this case, we just got a jag of whatever and just hang it in there. Leaving the system under pressure, again, it's going to tell us that we have no leaks. What happens if you are repeatedly doing the process of pumping on the front, holding the brake lever, opening the master cylinder, the caliper bleeder, and nothing is building, no pressure is building, brake fluid keeps coming up? There's obviously a bubble trapped somewhere. At that point, we're going to do kind of like what we suggested on the front. We're going to hold on to the brake lever, and we're going to bleed directly at the caliper bolt. With a 14-millimeter wrench, you're going to open up the caliper bolt. The brake lever, it's going to come down, and you're going to immediately close it. You're removing any big bubbles on the system, on the caliper itself. You can do the exact same thing at the master cylinder. You have to think that these systems have so many different craves and like spots in which where air can get trapped that, you know, anything that you do to release that air, it's the trick on building pressure on the system. Again, if you do have any problems as you're bleeding it and nothing is really working for you, you can call us at the office and we will be more than glad to give you a hand immediately.